Hello and welcome to our Salesforce.com webinar, Proven Steps for Building a Successful Partner Community. As you may know, Salesforce.com is a publicly traded company, and therefore we do need to share this safe harbor statement with you to let you know that any forward-looking statements are just that, forward-looking statements. If you would like to learn more about this safe harbor statement, you can find it on our website under the Investor Relations section. So with that, I would like to introduce Amy Reagan-Morehouse.
Thank you all for joining us today. I'm really excited to have with us Nason Gayula, Vice President of Alliances, Partners, and Channels at Serena Software. Serena has been using the Salesforce Partner Portal since last year and is here to share with us their challenges they had running their channel, the implementation process, and their ultimate success using Salesforce Partners. Here is the agenda that we plan to cover on the call today. We will hear Serena's story, see a live demo of their partner portal, and Nason will share with us his best practice tips for a successful deployment. As we mentioned earlier, you can post questions throughout today's presentation, and we will answer those at the end of the session. For those of you who are not familiar with Salesforce Partners, we deliver comprehensive functionality for the full partner lifecycle management, including recruitment, marketing, selling, and reporting and analytics. Automating the recruitment efforts of the channel is critical to scaling your channel business. Salesforce provides the tools to establish channel business plans jointly with your partners and ensure that they are onboarded quickly and smoothly. With effective channel marketing, there's a closed-loop cycle for leads, getting them out to partners quickly and giving them the ability to follow up and close them. And managing the channel marketing funds and budgets gives partners the access to use the funds to drive awareness for your products in their customer base. Opportunity management is one of the main focuses of channel organizations. With deal registration and activity management in Salesforce Partners, your channel partners are supported through all of their selling efforts, and the process is driven based on your business process and workflow. Being on the same Salesforce.com platform, everything you do, everything the partners do, is instantly reflected in the dashboards and reports, giving you analytics needed to successfully manage your channel business. Salesforce Partners allows an organization to drive more revenue through their channel, increase partner loyalty, and overall make doing business easy. Now I'll hand it over to Nason to tell us about Serena's story. Nason?
Amy, thanks very much. Very pleased to be here with everybody today. We have focused for a long time on building a really wide and strong channel, and this solution, this Salesforce Partner solution, has really enabled us to take it to a next level. So what I'll share with you today is briefly what challenges we faced, what solutions we put in place, and what we've seen in terms of results. We've had a very large partner community with just one headcount administering that solution. We had a lot of collaboration we had to put together. Of course, we've got channel conflict like everybody has, and a lot of focus on metrics around how we manage our business. We put together a fully integrated solution, which I'll share with you today, incorporating a lot of the best practices and integrated to our different systems internally, and have been able to really focus on the partners who are making more results for us and double down our efforts in working with those specific partners, as well as putting together good analysis around our investments that we're making in partners and increasing our own profile and recruitment as well. So let's start at the beginning. Who is Serena? What do we do? We talk about ALM 2.0. ALM is a very technical field. It's application lifecycle management, allowing people who develop applications from corporate IT to software developers to manage the entire life cycle of that software. So it might be gathering requirements. It might be being able to manage a certain release. It might be everything in between. We are a very international operation, and we're running at about now almost 900 and change employees. We do have quite a few users of Salesforce.com in the sales group, about 350 there, and we now have around 300 partners who are using Salesforce Partners. We've also started to branch out into what we call the mashup space, and a few words about mashups. The term itself started out with music, when you put together two different songs, like you mash up two different pieces of music. and it quickly moved into computing when we started to see people mash together two different websites. As this concept of putting together two different sources of data or two different applications started to make its way into the enterprise, some frameworks emerged, one of them being our Serena Business Mashup suite that allows customers to take two different applications or two different data sources and connect them via a process that allows a business user to take a few steps that they might take between, let's say, their SAP system and a Salesforce.com system or vice versa, and automate them so that if you wanted to take an order that you closed in Salesforce.com and push that data into SAP but include maybe a credit approval step or several other financing steps in the middle, you could enshrine not only the integration of the data, but you could also integrate the people process. So that's become our new mantra, the thing that we're really pushing. Serena, the mashups are here. Well, with that said about who we are and what we do, we've got a lot of partners who are out there, both old and new, dealing with everything from application lifecycle management on the mainframe to people who are just joining us and dealing with us in a very Web 2.0 SaaS kind of way. That means that we have really strong partner relationships already. In other words, in 27 years of company history, we've got people who've been doing mainframe work with us for ages. And it also means that we've got not only different regions and international requirements that we find ourselves facing, but it also means that we've got very new kinds of partnerships where we don't really know what success is like, and we don't really understand what it's going to be like to be successful, so we have to be very fluid. So when we think of the situation we found ourselves in when we first started the Salesforce Partners deployment, we said, okay, we've got great relationships, we've got different regions with different needs, and we don't really know what it means to be successful for our new partnerships, as well as we can't really tell what our most successful relationships are for our existing ones, except that we know that they're strong, that they feel good to us, but metrics-wise, we don't know what they look like. So when we started implementing our Salesforce.com solution, we had the goals to really create a system that would take the best concepts, the best practices that we knew would work across different partner programs as well as across different regions, and put those into the system so that we could track those processes, come up with good hard metrics about what was happening, and be really transparent and really clear to everybody involved, from the partner management and our sales team to our partner program operations to our executives to executives at partners and including our customers of our partners. So trying to get this 360-degree view on what was actually going on. Now, the result has been a Salesforce Partners portal, which I'll show you, a variety of processes, and actually more than I would like to admit to, but quite a few processes that are fully automated. And, of course, intrinsic to the entire thing is that the data gets collected as people go through these processes so that we don't actually need to go through and recapture them. They're just there, and we can do reporting on those key metrics. A word about our partner strategy. This year we started a very new tiered program where we started working with alliances separately, a Serena Partner Program, which is really what I'm talking about here today, that focused on VARs and distributors, as well as a program that we call the Mashup Exchange, which includes our web channels, that dealt with taking solutions that are built by partners around mashups and putting them up there on the web so that we can allow our partners to market their vertical and horizontal solutions. So we've got a partner that built an integration between SAP and Salesforce.com, and it's got some best practices around order management. They've put that up on our Mashup Exchange in addition to working with the Serena Partner Program. But with that kind of a structure inside the Serena Partner Program, we had to focus on making sure that we could fulfill all the promises we were making to these partners, again, some of whom have been around for a long time, as well as start to look strategically at what those partners should be doing to not only allow them to continue to be successful, but to allow Serena to grow and diversify its reach as a company across the world, especially if you start to think about these new technologies like mashups, which require very different kinds of partnering and very different kinds of results. So our themes for the year were really about trying to ensure that we had fairness. The Salesforce.com system was key here because in order to demonstrate that you're being fair, you have to have one place that everybody goes to find the truth. Otherwise, you can't really even have the conversation. So for me, it was critical to fully automate things like what's our pipeline, what's our revenue, are leads flowing this way. So if someone says to me, oh, I'm doing all the work in this relationship, Serena, I can say, well, look, we flowed 89 leads to you, 3 of which have now resulted in revenues for you as well as for us. I don't see that being reciprocated, or I see that it is being reciprocated. So having one place where we can really point everybody to allows us to back up the claim of fairness. Another aspect is growth. At Serena, we never measured the difference between growth that came from our partners and growth that came from Serena. So I could have a partner who was very successful processing orders for Serena, but I couldn't actually say they generated a lot of business for Serena or vice versa. And as we're talking about fairness and talking about growth, in order for Serena to grow its business and the business of its partners, we want to make sure that the partners are growing their own businesses, not just riding on the coattails of Serena, or vice versa, that Serena's not just riding on their coattails. We also wanted to demonstrate customer success, and that's where we say growth times 3 and 3 times growth. It has to be growth for the partners, the customers, and Serena. And again, with one transparent system, I can follow a customer's level of success from cradle to grave. So I can go all the way from a customer got on our website or a partner's website, they're interested in this solution. The partner implemented the solution. They closed the deal with the customer, and XYZ has been the ROI or the metrics. All that gets updated into our Serena Partners portal so that we can make sure that we're doing the right things to grow, and we can measure and we can talk about intelligently how we're helping our partners to grow the business for themselves, for us, and for our joint customers.
So, Nathan, a quick question on that. So how were you managing to find out that information before you used the partner portal?
We kind of weren't.
Okay. So really, now you can see those who are giving and those who are taking, and really be able to have a more holistic view of the type of business you're doing with those partners.
Right. And, I mean, that was part of the challenge we had. Individual partner program managers, let's say someone working in Korea, would be able to tell that just on a kind of anecdotal basis, but there wasn't any comprehensive way that an executive could get at that, for instance. And there's certainly, because it was anecdotal, there wasn't any way to aggregate it. So at the program level, you couldn't tell at the company level what was going on. You could call 30 different partner managers around the world and get a feel for what was going on. And so for us, Salesforce.com meant a huge jump forward in actually being able to track and then add up those metrics and at the high level figure out whether we're doing the right things or the wrong things in our partner program.
Great.
The last point, I think, is going to be a very clear one. We wanted people to spend more time building the business and less time fiddling around with paperwork. And on that, I have to say again, we've had tremendous, tremendous amounts of success. Now, if we start talking about the results of our program, what it looks like, I won't go through this in too much depth, but I want you to understand that we've taken a pretty complex model and integrated the processes that are in that complex model into the system. So things like MDF, I have PGSB, which is cryptic, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, different tiers for our partners, qualifications for different revenue contributions. So at the top level, and this is for example, 6% might go to MDF. In other words, 6% of the revenues that are contributed by a partner to Serena might end up being carved off into a marketing development fund that they can use to market their own services related to Serena solutions. So first off, I need to be able to manage that whole MDF. I need to be able to talk about, when I'm talking about a senior vice president review of a business plan, how do I do that? Where does the business plan live? Can everybody see that? When I talk about heavy touch with our partners, and it's not what you're thinking, it means that we're really going to interact with these partners in a very serious way. How do I make sure that our executives can get visibility into the partner's pipeline, into what's going on, into how that partner is following up on leads? And believe me, our executives do care, and on a very frequent basis are surfing through Salesforce.com and looking at the deals, both direct and indirect, that are in there to get an idea of where they should be focusing their time and efforts in helping us grow the business. So again, a pretty complex tiered model with different percentages, different allocations, different amount of interaction, and we had to automate all those processes. Now, the funny part about this is it looks complex right there, but if you start thinking about the fact that Serena has 4 different worldwide regions, North America, Latin America, Asia Pacific, and our European EMEA, including Middle East and Africa. So those operations each have different workflows, different tier levels, and in some cases each of those regions has 2 different models, one for VARs and one for distributors. You can get an idea of the level of complexity that we're supporting with the Salesforce.com system. And we did that through establishing different groups and workflows for each group to make sure that we had that. So the core things that we automated in our Salesforce.com partner system are the ability for partners to market, sell, implement, and support customers. So if I think about it, we've done cradle to grave, beginning to end automation. Those 3 core processes are if a partner leads the entire cycle, in other words, a partner originates a deal for us. If Serena leads, in other words, we originate a deal. And lastly, things that we do together where usually the partner leads some kind of marketing campaign that we put together for them. We have different workflows for each of those kinds of processes, and we automate them from beginning to end so that our partners can actually gain a lot of benefit by using our systems and not have to come up with their own systems to do all the automation or the web-based presence for these types of things.
I can imagine that's great for when you're trying to recruit partners, is you really have this whole solution set for them.
It is. I really think it's something that is shocking. I mean, we're not a huge company. Let's face it, $300 million and about 900, 1,000 employees is not some gargantuan company. But the level of automation we've been able to achieve is pretty stellar. And if I look at that solution set, we have a separate product that we brought in some time ago for community, and that also we leverage for what we call the Mashup Exchange. We've got a Salesforce.com partner, MarketBright, who does our marketing automation, Salesforce for CRM and now PRM, Partner Relationship Management, as well as SAP for our AP and General Ledger. So we've got all these different systems, but we're able to transparently put them together, and I'll be able to show you that in the demo, so that our partners get one simple view, and they get a really sophisticated set of tools that they can put together so that they spend more time actually focused on the business, and they spend a lot more time actually productive, and I think that's what's key to them. Now, for me, it means a lot of things on a personal level in Serena, benefits to me, but for them, it's getting more productive, and it's getting much more easy interaction with Serena. So let's go ahead and take a quick day in the life of a partner on our live system. I've gone to a page here, which is Serena.com's page for partners, and it lists the different systems. It tells them, hey, it's all integrated. Click here, and we've put our logon right on our web page so that basically people get a very integrated feel and log into the Serena Partner Portal, as we're calling it, right from our home page. Now, as a partner user enters the Serena Partner Portal, they see a variety of tabs across the top, and across the left they see some new areas that they can start to interact with us. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger just so that everybody can see it a little bit better here. And folks know that they can get access to everything, and that's what's really key here is everything that Serena has for partners is accessible through this one partner portal, through the Salesforce.com partners portal. And that includes our community. It includes our MarketBright, who's a Salesforce partner that does our marketing automation. It includes a document store, and then the core areas that partners interact with us around their discrete processes. So if they want to make a fund request for marketing development funds, if they want to work with Serena on opportunities, and if they want to look at leads from Serena or leads that they've generated, as well as their landing page. So typically we have partners that might go in and say, for instance, hey, I'd like to look at some leads that come in from Serena. Now, just for background, we have very aggressive marketing. We were joking about this earlier, maybe too aggressive, some people say, but we have extremely aggressive marketing that generates tremendous amount of leads. I'll give you a quick anecdote. In one of our executive meetings that we have, a recurring meeting to analyze how we're doing on driving marketing to actual satisfied customers, we have a number of partners' names listed in the Salesforce.com dashboard. As you might know, the whole idea of integrating Salesforce.com partners into Salesforce.com in general for the CRM side means that our executives get one view of how a lead is processed, whether or not it's direct or indirect. So I'll have a direct, sales rep who's got 15 leads that they've received from a marketing campaign, and right next to them in the dashboard I'll have a partner's name, and that partner will have 15 leads, and we can track how each of those are doing and the effectiveness of campaigns across the world like that. So here I'm in a partner's view, and the partner has, in this case, maybe received a lead that came in from a campaign, and they can go in and start to work on looking at the history of that, and for instance, they can look at, changing that status of that lead so that, for instance, they'd say, well, I just received it and it was untouched, and then I made a contact attempt, and then I need more info, and then maybe I closed and archived it, or maybe it's qualified and I'd like to convert that lead to an opportunity. Now, again, this may seem trivial to you, but if you consider that we have marketing campaigns like a video that we did on YouTube that generated 1.2 million hits, you understand that on the metrics level, our management team is very concerned that we follow up on those people that are viewing that video. And a lot of those hits come from areas that are dealt exclusively through partners or distributors, as well as partners that work specifically in certain kinds of verticals and horizontals that we want to parcel our leads to. So for us, knowing that someone received a lead very quickly is very important. And also knowing that they followed up on it very quickly and that we can go in and drill down and help them is very important. For the partner, for me as a partner, it's dramatically interesting to go in and see leads, and then it's really easy for me to say, hey, you know what, this lead is now qualified, and as a matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and hit save, and that means that I don't need to go call someone, a partner manager, and tell them that I did anything. Everybody in Serena can now see this, and life is really good. And I think that's the kind of automation for the partner that's meaningful. This is a very quick thing to do. It's very easy to do your lead management. Of course, with the email notification and things like that have come in, it's relatively simple. So a lot of the partners will say, okay, I want to see, my unread leads, and hopefully this comes up the way it is right now, which is empty, which means they've dealt with all the leads they had for today or the new leads. So again, very simple looking, but very powerful in the back end. Same thing with opportunities. Partners can look at all opportunities. In this case, since it's a production system, I basically am going to skip over this tab, but if you're not familiar with Salesforce.com's opportunity handling, it will present you a view of the opportunity, real dollar amounts, so a partner can enter in and change dollar amounts. They can update the notes, the interactions they've had with a customer. And in our situation, this is another very key area of interaction. We run a model in many areas where we have partners cooperating with our direct sales team. And so the sales rep has the option at any point in time to add a partner to the opportunity sales team. And that means that they can invite a partner to that sales cycle, that opportunity. And the partner then can start to enter notes, and everybody can interact, and they can follow what's happening with the deal. And truly what we're doing is we're taking a big fat eraser, and we're erasing the line between Serena and our partners. And we tell them that. You are part of our systems. You are part of our one single Salesforce.com system. And that means that you're inside Serena now. This is where you get to play with us, and we all play by the same rules. This is very powerful when it comes to streamlining processes and getting partners integrated into what's really going on. Now, if we look at the fund requests again, I'll just go in and actually create a new one real quick. So I can create a new task for a sales rep. I can create a new lead and register that lead, for instance, and indicate to Serena that I've got a new deal that came in and I'd like to register that so that we can avoid channel conflict. Or maybe I'll put in a fund request like I'm doing in this case, and I'll say this is a test big money request, and the account is PRM Test Partner. I have to type in that name so that we know it's not a goofy one. So since this is a production system, I don't want to cause any trouble for our administrators. So I'll choose that I'm going to run an activity on the 4th, for instance, and that it's going to be a direct mail campaign, and I'll enter in information about my target audience and so on. Anyway, at the end of this, what happens is my request goes off to an appropriate workflow. And remember, we have 4 different worldwide regions, so there are 4 workflows. But it'll go to the appropriate manager, and then it will go to our corporate partner marketing, who will verify that everything's okay and create a fund request. And then the partners can go in and create against a particular fund request. They can create a request for reimbursement as they fulfill different aspects of that marketing campaign. We reimburse them out of that MDF fund. Partners also have access to documents, so things like, hey, this, let's go to one that's going to be interesting. Okay, we had a BYU webinar that we did, and if a partner wants to use that material around that webinar and they want to watch the sales training, partners can go in and watch that sales training. Now, just think about this. I mean, Serena, again, is focused on a very open model with his partners, but as a partner, you have access to the same training and resources that all Serena sales reps have. And as Serena, I, in the partner program, don't have to do anything to get that to happen. Anytime a sales ops or training person puts up resources for the Serena sales reps, those automatically become available to partners. Now, you have to notify your internal folks to make sure that they're now holding their materials to a bit of a higher standard, since it's not purely internal only. But think about the low administration and the power you have and the self-service you're enabling. We also have a Salesforce.com partner, MarketBright, who does our marketing automation. In this case, we have a partner, SCI Argentina, that I'm actually going to use as the demo case in this. As you can see, it's fully integrated. I think one of the most interesting pieces of this is that we can actually create new campaigns, so a partner can decide that they want to select one of the template campaigns that Serena is running internally, and they can choose, let's say, here's a bunch of the Forrester Seminar Dimensions Performance. In any case, they choose one of these campaign landing pages that will appear on a Serena.com site, but we specifically track that campaign and flow those leads back into their portal so that they can receive all the leads from running our marketing campaign. So just think about this. Serena spends, let's say, $10,000 to develop a very specific campaign around 10 commandments around mashups. This is how you should do mashups. And then it gets out to a certain audience. A partner decides that that would be great going out to their customer list. They create, through that process on the web, a landing page unique to them that they can put their own logo on and change the wording around on and make it all specific to them. They can send out an email to all of their potential customers or people on their customer list. People come in, a certain percentage register for that action, and that all ends up in their Salesforce.com partners portal for them to take action on. So, again, they don't really have to spend almost anything to do that, and this means that the Serena Partner Program becomes a lot more valuable to them. We're giving partners a way to generate their own revenues inside their own customer base. It's a real win-win. And again, by fully automating it, we enable something to happen that hasn't happened before. typical small VAR, they don't have marketing resources to put this all together. They don't have a marketing website to put this all together. They don't have maybe an SFA system that would help them flow their leads and track leads into opportunities. And we're giving them the entire bundle. So when you think about the power and the value prop to a partner, it is very simple. With Serena's infrastructure, using Serena's Salesforce.com infrastructure, we're going to give you cradle-to-grave automation so that you can build a business that you normally couldn't do. And even a sales rep can do it. You don't even need a marketing person. I think that's what's going to set us really apart.
That's really neat, Nathan, because, when we talk about Salesforce Partners, for a long time we've said, you can make your partners as successful as your direct folks, and you guys are really doing that in action. I'd love to see it.
We're trying as hard as we can, and it's actually showing some really good results. The last bit I'll do on the tour here is on the community tab. We have a community product that we've used for a while, a fantastic product that we wanted to integrate for partners into this portal so that they could see everything, including resources for partners, for instance. And let me just change this view around to a table view so that you can see a little bit more. But we wanted to provide things like the training videos for partners and that kind of thing all to them. So, for instance, if you want to see Latin American business processes, North American, EMEA, APAC, all these documents, all this information, or you wanted to, for instance, interact with Serena or see the general information on products, all of those kinds of things are accessible in our community. It was very important to integrate that into the experience. The last thing I want to tell a partner is, hey, I'm trying to make your life easy, so here's 16 URLs that you should memorize because, with Salesforce.com, again, all I have to do is put this up in a tab, and I now offer an integrated experience to that partner. And that's important for them because they've got enough things going on. Many of them work with 5 different ISVs, and the last thing they want to do is have to remember much. So again, they can go to www.serena.com and log in as a partner and get access to everything from leads to marketing to opportunities to MDF to community in one place. So again, this is the high-level review of a partner's experience inside the portal where they can do things like get leads from us, work with us on opportunities, do fund requests, get access to information they need, and even start their own campaigns.
Wow, that's great. It's definitely a one-stop shop for your partners. I can see why they're loyal to you and they want to keep using it.
Well, it's been really interesting. One of the things that we've seen, Amy, as a result of the last probably the last 2 months, 3 months, where we've really started to make noise about this, is that we've started to see a massive hit rate on partners interested in joining the partner program. So, we're now getting in 4 to 5 requests a week to join the partner program, coming in directly from the website. And I think it has to do a lot with us marketing the program. But a cornerstone of us marketing the program is we're going to make your life easier. And the way we do that is through this Web 2.0 automation. It makes a huge difference. So with that, I think I can probably safely summarize the results. We can say to our partners that we took a lot of money, time, and effort and put it into finding the right business processes and then automating them and making them easy for you to use so that we can we can give partners the results that they need to grow their own business. And I think, if you look at the revenue growth, we also have a very new capability which allows us to not only manage the growth of our specific partners, but also to look at it at an aggregate level, like how much growth in this country is coming from direct versus indirect, and therefore where should we invest across a region, across a product line. So by having one view in Salesforce.com, which goes across our direct and indirect channel, we have a level of analytics that is unbelievable. And I think that allows our execs really to gain a lot of success, and that's very important as well. Lastly, when we talk about strategically trying to figure out which partners we want to go after and where we want to double down and who we want to do what with, again, this is a tremendous asset to us, not to mention very good for the partners. So Amy asked me, Nathan, what would you recommend to people who are thinking about putting in a system like this? What should they be thinking about? And I thought of 3 really key things. The first one is PRM is not rocket science in the sense that the tool is not something difficult to use, but you have to remember that the processes you're trying to put in place and the best practices and how it's going to interact with what you've already got in place in-house, both in terms of your human systems and processes and your technology, it's not going to be simple. And you'll want to think about using a partner, either a Salesforce.com professional services or one of Salesforce's partners. We chose a Prevo who's done a tremendous job for us in allowing us to understand the technical impacts and the technical implementation of our business logic that we wanted to put in place. And I think that was key because we could focus on the business side and they could focus on making it real, making it happen, and give us advice around whether or not such a thing was a smart thing to do given the new systems and tools. We also heard from many of our internal staff slow down. Now, you guys will laugh, but we were able to put together our initial implementation of PRM, the Partner Relationship Management, in 3 weeks. Now, that didn't mean that we were actually able to roll it out in 3 weeks. It means that we were able to put together the technology. The rollout is, believe it or not, still ongoing. And so there's been a lot of people that have said, hey, slow down. The technology won't be the limiting factor here. There's a lot of training, and that's point 3 here. There's a lot of training that needs to go on. There's a lot of experience that people need to have with these new kinds of systems so that they can adequately understand them and then learn how to use them moving forward. So what we've seen is we came out with a first release. People were kind of shocked and awed that we did it so quickly, but then they said, well, I need this, and there's been a lot of interest in reconfiguring workflows and changing business processes. In other words, when people figured out how easy it was to actually reflect a different business process and the way that it happened in the digital world instead of the telephone and paper and fax world that we used to have for things like deal registration, things changed a lot and requirements changed a lot. And so the slow down and train is very important, both internally and externally with partners. So those would be my 3 mantras. 1, partner up, find someone who's got experience. 2, slow down. Don't worry about the technical speed. Worry more about the speed of your people and your partners understanding how things are going to work in the new world. And train. Train internally, train externally, train your salespeople. Make sure everybody knows what's going on when you start to enable this kind of increased speed between your sales force, your customers, your partners. So, Amy, with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Nason. I mean, I really think people have been able to get a good sense of sort of what your challenges were, which is, a lot of processes that weren't optimized, and the solution put in place. I really appreciate you showing us in detail about how you use the partner portal and the app exchange tools that you've got in there and the mashup, so to speak, that you're bringing to your partners. I think that's incredible. So for those of you who are on the phone and attending the webinar, I'd love for you to find out more about Salesforce Partners and how it can be a great solution for your organization. And you can do that by a couple of different things. You could contact your account executive and sign up for a 30-day trial. We'd love to have you try the partner portal. We also have information, additional case studies, upcoming events, all of that listed on our blog that you see on the slide here. So again, another great resource for you to sort of get started. And with that, we've got a couple of different questions that have come through the chat as we've been discussing here. So Nason, you've got a global deployment. How does the partner portal support local currencies and languages? How have you configured it to support local business practices?
Well, it's actually a very funny thing. I'll give you a story behind that. We were in Sweden, and we were doing one of our deployment sessions a while back. We had like 6 or 7 partners in the room, and they were saying, well, do you have this in Swedish? And, do you have, I want kroners, and, we don't use the euro, or we want to use the euro. And it was very funny because we were able to open up the administration side of this and pick from a drop-down of all kinds of languages and all kinds of different locales. So the way that it's handled is very simple. There's 2 drop-downs in the administrator side when I enable a partner, and they allow us to choose a language as well as choose a locale, which is things like how does your time display, how is your currency displays, your metrics, those kinds of things, how do they show up. So it's really drop-dead simple, and it gave us a serious amount of international credibility or luster because we didn't have to build it. It just came with the system. And I think that's a huge benefit. People say, oh, software as a service in Salesforce. But let me tell you, when you go to Sweden and someone says, do you do Swedish? And you have it in the drop-down, that's pretty good.
Great. Someone asked, how much time does your administrator focus on the partner portal support?
The support is interesting. There's not a lot of time to spend on the portal itself. The things that we spend a lot of time are kind of around the portal. Things like people want to change a business process, or people want to work on, streamlining a certain way that we do things. So we've got one administrator who not only does the Salesforce.com Partners site, but also administers all of our systems and also administers the whole partner program. So a fraction of her time is spent on the PRM system. Now, during the rollout, it was a very intensive period, so there was a lot of work that went on during the rollout to actually get people trained. But again, it was more about training and getting people accustomed to the system, and then streamlining business processes and keeping up with requirements that changed than it was, support, quote unquote, on the system.
Great. Another one here is, do you charge a price for your partners to participate in the program, and do you include in that price to cover the overhead of the fees for Salesforce.com?
No, we don't. We considered it. So net, we allow access to the system via the tiers. And what we're saying to partners is, if you give us X dollars a year in net to Serena revenues, in other words, Serena gains these revenues that you generate as a partner, that we will give you access to certain things, including training, including the partner portal, including the marketing automation, including our campaigns. And so to us, it's just a benefit that we offer. The way we monetize it is by actually having people contribute to the program in general. So we don't break it out and give them a line item that says, you owe us this for the partner portal. Now, we have had some discussions with partners. A lot of our international distributors, after they use our system, want to move over to Salesforce.com for their own CRM. And so we've considered doing some work with them. There's a relatively new thing called Salesforce to Salesforce, where a partner can actually connect their own Salesforce implementation system or implementation to ours. And so there is some discussion there about going half and half and paying for that. But no, we don't charge for it, and I don't think we ever will.
Got it. What different teams did you have to work with internally to get this project rolled out?
This was a cross-company kind of effort. Obviously, you can see we worked with marketing quite a bit to get all those campaigns integrated. We had to work with our CRM team, in other words, the people that administer the Salesforce.com sales side of the house, because we wanted to fully integrate our implementation with the one that we did for the regular Salesforce. So there was a lot of work there. IT, of course, was involved. Things like making connections to our SAP system, and our IT group as well takes care of the administration overall of the actual Salesforce.com system. So, they were involved as well. So overall, you found that everybody from support, who's posting support documents, to product marketing, who's putting things like guides and looking at the data and analyzing our sales metrics, to everybody else in the company had a hand or a foot or a thumb into the process. Just depends on kind of who it was. It worked out really well, though. Again, we were able to demo this system, put it up in front of them, have everybody interact, and it's pretty configurable. So later on, when they said, I want to do this, we were able to change things around to suit them.
Okay, got it. So as you've rolled this, the next question is, as you've rolled out this training, have you done it in regions? Do you do it based on tiers? What's been your method there?
Say one more time. Just not sure I got that.
Oh, as you're rolling out your training,
mm-hmm.
Did you deliver your training to have separate sessions for the different tiers of partners, or did you do it regionally?
We did it regionally. So we would, depending on the region, some areas we did them web-based, so we did webinars. Some areas we did them in person. In some cases, for some of our largest partners, the Platinums, we actually have had web-based or in-person one-on-one sessions. We conducted a worldwide road show, so it was quite a month, but Latin America, 2 locations, Asia Pacific, 1 location, and then 5 locations in Europe and North America as well, all within a month, where we went out and talked about the program. I have found that really there is nothing to replace the face-to-face, and it's not just about the rollout of the tool, but it's about having the discussions that occur around the tool and around the solution. So people really want to talk with you, I think, about what it means to their business process. Well, when I register a deal, how does it really work? Not how do I click, but how does it work? What do you guys think when I put in this information in the system? So that human interaction, in a lot of cases face-to-face, works out very, very well for that.
Well, great. I think that answers most of the questions that we've got coming through the chat. And for anything that we've missed, we'll follow up with folks directly. But Nathan, I just wanted to thank you again so much for sharing your story and the success you've had with Salesforce Partners. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. And, I think, again, I really appreciate what you guys have done. I've seen this product mature over the years, and for us, it means something that's, for me, really important, which is I can go from just waving my hands and talking about how we help partners to really demonstrating it to everybody, the partners, our execs, myself, the customers, everybody, that we're doing the right thing. So this has been a partnership that really works out for us.
Great. And thanks to everybody who also was able to attend today. We hope that you'll find out more information about how Salesforce Partners can work for you. Thanks again.